Okay, hello everyone. My name is Breter, and you can call me John. Today I would like to talk about relative pronoun, but before I explain about the relative pronoun, I would like to show you the two sentences. As you can see on the screen, there are two sentences. The first one is the woman who lives next to my room is a doctor. The students whom I thought were diligent. So, from the sentences, from the sentences, do the sentences have relative pronoun? The answer is yes. The sentences have relative pronouns. What are they? They are who and whom. So, without any further ado, let's go to the explanation. What is relative pronoun? Relative pronoun is one which used to refer to nouns mentioned previously in a sentence. It also used to combine two sentences. So, when we use a relative pronoun, we use a relative pronoun after a noun in sentence. So, when we create a sentence and we use relative pronoun, we have to put the relative pronoun after a noun. So, noun and the relative pronoun. Is it understood? Okay. And why we use the relative pronoun? We use the relative pronoun to make it clear which person or things we are talking about. In English, there are five common relative pronouns. They are who, whom, which, whose, and that. So, who who is a relative pronoun that is used to replace subject, and when we use who, we must it must talk about it must talk about people, because we cannot use who when we want to talk about animal or about things. When we use uh, relative pronoun who, we it must be talking about person. And I provide two sentences here. The first one is the girl holds the camera is my girlfriend. So the who here refers to the girl, which the who explain about the girl. So the girl is person and it is a noun. So after the noun comes who as the relative pronoun. And the second sentence is, do you know the woman who sits in front of the window? This is just as the same as with the first example. The who here explain the woman who sits in front of the window. So when we use who, it must talk about person. We cannot use who as a relative pronoun when we talk about thing or animal. The next one is whom. Whom is a relative pronoun that is used to replace object, and the object must be person. So as just as same as with who, when we use whom, it must be talk about person. So there are two examples. I provide two examples. The first one is the person whom I called did not respond. The second example, the girl whom we met was friendly. Is it understood? Yeah. The next one is which. Which is a relative pronoun to replace subject and object, and we use which when we want to talk about animals or thing. We cannot use which when we want to talk about person, because which is used when we want to talk about animals or things. There are two examples. The first one is Bila wants to go to the beach, which reminds her of her husband. So, which here refers to the beach, which the be- refers to the beach, and which explain about the beach. So, So in the first sentence, it talk about the beach. So we use which as the relative pronoun. And the second sentence is Mark adopt a rabbit which is very cute. Just as with the first example, in the second example, which is used to which in the second example refers to the rabbit, and it is explained the rabbit which is very cute. And is it understood? Yeah, we use which as the relative pronoun when we talk about animals or things. Do not use it when we talk about person. And the next one is whose. Whose is the possessive form of who. So whose is a relative pronoun and we use it to replace possessive pronoun. When we use this when we use the relative pronoun of whose, it talks about someone's belonging of something, or someone's belonging of something or something else. And as we can see as you can see on the screen, I provide two examples. The first one is it's Jane whose mother is a singer. So it talks about Jane's mother, who's here refers to the Jane's mother. So it talks what Jane's belonging. Jane's belong the a mother who is a singer. So when we use whose, it talks about belonging of something. And the second sentence is the woman whose phone is ringing is my friend. So is it understood? Okay. The last one is that. That that is used to replace things or human or people as as subject or object. And we use that when we talk about human, about people, or about things, or about animals. We can use it when we talk about human or things. And also we can use we can use relative pronoun that to replace the relative pronoun who relative pronoun who, for example. And here I provide two examples. The first one is the first one is the song that you sang yesterday is my favorite song. We can see that here refers to the song, and the song is a thing. And the second example is the girl that I met yesterday is wearing a glasses. That here refers to the girl, that there's the girl when we talk about a person. And so we can see that from the two sentences, the first sentence talk about a song, which is things, and the second example talk about person. So that's all the explanation about relative pronouns. So now we will go to the exercise. Okay, okay, the first one. Do you do you know the boy? The options here are who or which. Do you know the boy who or which is wearing black jacket? So what is the answer? What is the correct answer? The correct answer is who, because in the sentence we talk about the person, we talk about the boy who is wearing black jacket. So the correct answer is who. Oh, the second example is the poem that the poem the option of the answer is that or whom. The poem that or whom you write is posted on the newspaper. So what do you think the answer? The correct answer is that. Why? Because because the poem that you write is posted on the newspaper. It talks about about the about the about the thing, We cannot use whom here because whom is used when we use to replace an object. So the correct answer is that. So the sentence must be the poem that you write is posted on the newspaper. The next one is I have a friend. The option whose or whom sister is a dentist. If you understand about the explanation, you can answer this exercise directly. Yeah, the correct answer is whose because we talk about someone's belonging, about someone, about the possessive pronoun. The replace the possessive pronoun. It is talk about I have a friend whose sister is a dentist. So the correct answer is whose. Okay, the next one is about I know a cafe which or the option is which or whose serves excellent coffee. So what do you think the correct answer? The correct answer is which. Why? Because in the sentence we talk about things, we talk about cafe. So the correct answer is which. Why? Why whose do not the correct answer? Because we in this case we do not talk about possessive about someone's belonging to something, but we talk about in these sentences we talk about things. So the correct answer is which. So the sentence must be I know a cafe which serves excellent coffee. The last one, the musician, the options are whom or which. Everyone loves passed away 2 weeks ago. So what do you think the answer? The answer is whom. The answer is whom. So the sentence must be the musician whom everyone loves passed away 2 weeks ago. Why why the answer does not which? Because here we talk about a person. We do not talk about the things or animals. So the correct answer is whom. So that's all the explanation from me about the relative pronoun. So here the references that I use to make this PPT. Thank you.